Toy Story 5 is coming. I believe it's, what is it, June 19th? It opens up. Mm-hmm. It's coming soon. We're just a couple of weeks away from it now. And, you know, when they first announced it, it's predictable. Every time a new Toy Story movie is coming, every time it's been, oh, we don't need another Toy Story. Every single time. People aren't going to go see this one. And every single time they deliver, and every single time flock out to them, several billion-dollar films at the box office, and they do well. So sure enough, when they announced Toy Story 5, a lot of people, nobody cares about Toy Story anymore. It's going to flop. We don't need another one. You said that every single time. And yet here we are. And I said, Toy Story 5, going to be big. It's going to be big. I don't know how big, but it's going to be big. Well, we've got our now opening weekend projections coming to us from Deadline. And Deadline is saying that Toy Story 5, according to the reports, is going to open to $150 million domestic. Of course, when we talk about opening weekend, that's all we talk about is domestic. $150 million. To put that into a couple of pieces of context, that would easily make it the biggest opening ever for any Toy Story movie. As we go back and look at the history of the Toy Story movies, here's how they've opened up on their opening weekends. The first Toy Story opened up in, of course, 1995 to 29.1 million. The second one, as the popularity did, went up to 57.4 million on its opening weekend. Then Toy Story 3, I still think the best of the Toy Story movies, the one that was nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, only the third animated film in history to do that. It made $110 million on its opening weekend. Then Toy Story 4 came out, did even better with nearly $130 million on its opening weekend. This would blow by that at 150 if it does come in on that. Now, for another piece of context, not only would it break the record if it comes in at this 150 that Deadline is reporting, not only would it break the record for the biggest opening for any Toy Story movie ever, for those of us who doubted the continuing and enduring popularity of this franchise, it would also be the single biggest opening of 2026 thus far. As we take a look at this for a little bit more context. So far, the biggest opening weekend of the year has been the Mario Brothers movie that made $131 million on its opening weekend. Michael landed $97 million. Mandalorian and Grogu just had an $82 million opening weekend. Project Hail Mary had an $80.5 million opening weekend, and The Devil Wears Prada 2 had a $76.7 million opening. If Toy Story 5 does come in at what Deadline is projecting at $150 million, that blows by the Mario Brothers movie. And, you know, Rob, I think when we talked a month or so ago, when Fandango did their annual consensus, if you will, the poll, if you will, amongst their reader. Remember, Fandango, biggest movie ticket seller in America, bigger than any of the individual theaters. And they surveyed their readers, average film goers, and asked them, what is your most anticipated movie of the summer of 2026? And the answer from the readers of Fandango and the Fandango's customers was not Spider-Man, was not The Odyssey, wasn't anything else. That wasn't Star Wars. I believe Star Wars didn't even make the list. It was Toy Story 5 was ranked as the number one most anticipated movie of the summer, over a Christopher Nolan film, over a Spider-Man film. And I think a lot of people kind of did a side eye at that, said, can we trust that number? Well, how does it look now? Because listen, Spider-Man may very well come out and have a bigger opening weekend. I think it's going to be close. Odyssey, I don't think Odyssey is going to have a $150 million opening weekend. I hope it does. But regardless of what happens after Toy Story, this is significant because it tells us a couple of things. Number one, this might be the first film franchise in history with like 5 installments where every single movie opens bigger than the previous one. Every single one. It's been a consistent staircase upwards. And obviously being the biggest of the year. I think the second thing it tells us is, again, something I referenced a little bit earlier. It's the endurance of the popularity and the belovedness of this franchise. I know when they announced Toy Story 5, and it's understandable, some people kind of thought, I mean, Toy Story, the original, is now getting a little bit long in the tooth. I mean, aren't we getting like close to 30 years
Hmm.
since this franchise began?
Don't say that.
It's been a few years since four. I know, right? It's been a while since the last one came out. You know, are people really still interested in that? This thing opens to $150 million. It screams that yes, people are still interested. And you know, Rob, I've said before, there's a little bit of a Mario phenomenon involved with this too, where like Mario, you're talking about a fan base that is a generational fan base. I mean, there are going to be people going to see this movie whose grandparents went to go see the first one.
Right.
And then their parents went to go see the third or the fourth one. And now they are going to go see the fifth one. That's a lot like Mario Bros. Every generations, there's been multiple Mario games consistently up until now. And that showed. So I got to say, I'm not surprised to hear this number. I think it's overwhelming. Like the biggest opening for a Toy Story movie ever, great. The biggest opening of the year so far, great. I think this is a phenomenal number.
We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply.
Anyway, Rob, you saw this number. Are you surprised, not surprised? And what does it tell you if it does come in around that type of a figure?
Well, like you just said, I mean, the first Toy Story came out 31 years ago. It came out in November of 1995. And if you think about that, that's many generations of people. Like you pointed out, like if your grandmother was 50 when the first Toy Story came out, she'd be 81 now. That's a lot. That's a long time. That's a big span of time. And if you know you were born that year, you'd be 31 now and very probably have your own kids. So I mean, you think about that, somebody who brought their kids originally to the original Toy Story, their kids probably have kids. So just that's 3 generations of people. And then if you throw in the grandparents, you're talking 4. And the thing about the Toy Story films is they're timeless.
Yes.
You know, even Shrek has their colloquialisms and they're more focused on pop culture. There's pop culture references and things like that. But the Toy Story movie, the very toys in Toy Story were sort of antiquated in 95. So the Toy Story movies are films out of time. And I think that gives them a universal appeal. And that's something that you can't replicate. You know, it's got to be part of the DNA. And I think that's part of the appeal of Toy Story as well. And that's why in 100 years, people, well, maybe people won't realize what the old toys were, but still, I mean, it has a resonance with people that's almost mythic, as opposed to Shrek, which is more of the moment. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
One of our live viewers, Ezekiel, made a really good point, saying this year's box office thus far bodes very well for Doomsday at the end of the year. Oh, yeah. Listen, we have been talking about this, right? We've been talking about this, that first of all, months ago, we talked about how 2026 is poised to be a big year, possibly, you know, the first time we get back to pre-pandemic levels. We saw that summer is forecasted to be bigger than 2019 summer box office, which is significant. And the more and more people are coming back to the movie theaters, I think Ezekiel's right, Rob. I think like Dune 3, I think Doomsday, I think all the films coming out in the latter part of the year are looking at these results right now and doing this and are extremely happy. And I think you're right. I think all this bodes very well for those big films that are coming out later in the year. So not only could it be great news for Toy Story, it could be great news for Doomsday as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
When you say the name Ezekiel out loud, do you want to scream, "What's your name?"
Honestly, I'm going to feel terrible for this. The first thing that comes to my mind besides the Old Testament prophet, when I think of Ezekiel, I think of what's the name of it? I think it's the originals. I think of the I know that sounds stupid, but I think of the originals a little bit, oddly enough. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Toy Story right now is being reported by the trades is being projected to have $150 million opening weekend.
Unbelievable.
If it does that, not only will it be the biggest opening for any Toy Story movie ever, a franchise that's had several billion-dollar films, but it would also make it by far the biggest opening weekend of any film so far this year. Are you surprised? Not surprised? What does that tell you? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.